Mr. Magazine. Mr. Thanadar is recognized for 5 minutes for question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to thank all of our witnesses here today. My sincere condolences to our witnesses. As a father and a grandfather, I sympathize with your unimaginable loss. As a member of Congress, I realize it is my duty and my colleagues' duty to do all we can to prevent tragedies like this from impacting our communities. That is why one of my first acts as a freshman member of Congress was introducing an amendment to the Republicans' H.R. 2 border bill, which they are now threatening to shut the government down over, which aimed to bolster the Department of Homeland Security's efforts to combat cross-border threats posed by transnational criminal organizations. This amendment, which would have strengthened DHS's ability to combat organizations engaging in criminal activity, such as drug trafficking and human smuggling, was voted down by every single Republican member. Sitting in this hearing room today and on this committee. While Republicans voted this and every other Democratic amendment down, I know enacting meaningful legislation is needed to address the issues at the southern border. That's why I have introduced the United Against Transnational Criminal Organizations Act. Several of my Democratic colleagues on this committee have signed on to this bill, which directs DSS to take a range of actions to combat illicit criminal cartel activity that undermines our homeland security. The bill directs DHS to establish a joint task force bringing together multiple agency components to conduct operations to combat cross-border threats posed by TCOs and organizations engaged in the trafficking of fentanyl and its materials across the land border of US. This bill directs DHS to establish an integrated border intelligence analytical cell to improve information sharing regarding the concentrated surge of migration, smuggling, and trafficking. And since we know a vast amount of fentanyl is trafficked through our ports of entry, it requires DHS to issue a strategy to improve the effectiveness of the screening of vehicles, persons, and cargo at land ports of entry that are at high risk of being related to transnational criminal organizations. My question to you, Professor Poston, would you agree that a legislation such as my United Against Transnational Criminal Organizations Act is a more effective measure to solving the issues at our border versus impeaching a secretary over policy differences?
Thank you, Mr. Thanadar. Again, I'm not an immigration policy expert, but the bill that you propose is certainly within Congress's power to enact. It may have an effect on immigration policy. Impeachment will have no effect on immigration policy.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, I yield back.
The gentleman yields.